Hey YouTubers, I haven't made a motorcycle video in a while. I sold my Ninja 250, which I've been a long time advocate of the Ninja 250, and bought a Ninja 650R 2008, just assembled, fresh from the crate. And so I'd like to talk a little bit about this bike, since I'd been debating buying one for a while, mostly because I wanted a new bike, and the new 250s are carbureted, and I'm pissed off about carburetors. I hate carburetors, and it's a pain in the ass. So I went into Andrew Cycles in Salem, and he cut me a deal, so I bought this thing. When you go in to buy a new motorcycle, there's a lot of hidden fees that you're not going to be aware of, or maybe you will be. But the MSRP on this, I think, is $64.99. Out the door, the price that they were asking was over $8,000, because there's a $500 and some assembly fee, and there's a $500 and some destination fee, plus tax, title, documentation fees, dealer fees, all that good stuff. So out the door you're looking close to $8,200. Well, I got mine out the door for $65.13, which is why I bought it, because that's a deal that I couldn't really pass up for a brand new bike. So I got a new helmet to go with it, but it matches the bike a lot better than my old helmets. So as you can see, there's some serious differences between this and a lot of other sport bikes, like this large red Unishock right. But little features of the 650R. Under here there's little hooks. You can put a helmet on that. It does not lock, which is kind of frustrating, because they put a helmet lock on my 2000 Ninja 250, and the 06 obviously had it too. Under here is the keyhole to remove the seat. And it's a stock windshield. Everything on the bike's stock right now, and I think I'm going to keep it that way. And these tires are a lot nicer than the stock Ninja tires, or stock Ninja 250 tires, which basically need to be replaced as soon as you buy the bike if you're planning on doing any kind of serious riding with corners or anything. Turn signals are decent looking. I'm probably going to eliminate the fender, not anytime soon, because I mean they're clear with the yellow bulb, so it's nice, and they're not sticking out too far. But I still don't like this big damn fender. Oh well. Front turn signals are flush. That's my Honda Civic key. It's probably not going to start this motorcycle. Actually, I'm not going to start the bike right now, because you guys have all heard them run, I'm sure. There's plenty of videos with exhaust comparisons and stuff. I like the way the stock exhaust sounds on this bike. Some people don't. All the exhausts I've heard on it so far I haven't really liked. So I've had this bike for just about 24 hours, and I've got 114 miles on it. So obviously I spent a good deal of time yesterday and today riding. But this thing does have the pedal calipers. In the front it's got dual pedal calipers, larger ones in the front, and there's two. Like one on each side, obviously. I like the underslung exhaust, that bullet tip exhaust. I've put a lot of miles on sport bikes. So, personally, this is the best bike I've ever ridden. And that sounds a little biased because I own it, but I have been on a ZX6R, the 636, a CBR 600RR, and a few others. I have not ridden an SV yet, which I'd like to compare it to, but because that's really the only thing in its class is the SV. But it is quick, surprisingly quick. I was expecting a kind of mild-tempered machine, like closer to the 250R, but obviously with more torque. But this thing is the power band is so big that I'm not used to not shifting. I'm used to shifting all the time, and on this thing I don't have to shift all the time, so it takes some getting used to, which is definitely a good thing, though. I think I'd rather not shift, but you can really cruise in third gear on this bike, whereas the 250 you're pretty much always in fifth or sixth gear cruising around town and stuff. And I don't know, I'm kind of impressed at how stable it feels. If you're looking for, I've always advocated the 250 as the only real beginner bike in the sport bike class. This is not a beginner bike. The power is, it's there. It's real evident when you get on it, and when you, in the real low RPMs, even above 2,000 RPMs, you'd be surprised at what it can do. And I'm sure my buddies with bigger bikes are going to be surprised at what it does still. Well, actually, you know, I don't have buddies with bigger bikes anymore because most of them ride 600s, and this is a 650. But the 600 is still going to be faster once you get out of low speeds. I mean, this will beat them off the line because of the torque. But top speeds, they'd win anyway because I'm not going to touch that. The speedometer says 140, and having ridden it, I'm really confident that it will do every bit of that 140 because it shoots me up to 100 faster than I'd want it to almost. So on this bike, it just kind of, it feels like the hand just like pushes you from underneath you, the bigger bikes I've ridden, I've never really opened up the throttle like that before because they weren't my bike and I wasn't going to do that to someone else's bike. But having opened up the throttle a bit on this one, I have not even gotten it over 9,000 RPMs. The red line's 11,000, but I haven't ridden it over 9. It's an impressive amount of power, so don't put this one out. If you're thinking about getting a 600, don't overlook the 650R because it's going to get better gas mileage. It looks great. On a more simple and obvious note, it's got the regular controls like all the other Ninjas, as far as I can think of, all the other Ninjas. It does have hazard lights, which is a nice feature because the 250R doesn't have those. High beams, low beams, your horn, turn signals. Clutch is adjustable, front brake's adjustable. There's an idle adjustment over here. There's a fuel light. There's no fuel gauge, but there's a fuel light, and then on that little digital display it says fuel, because that thing came on today. Although it came on and I filled up and I only put in 2.8 gallons, so I think it came on a bit early, but I'll have to look in the manual and see how big the tank is. I believe it's a 4.8, just like the 250 was. But it sounds a lot. It sounds like a two-cylinder. Is the only thing I can say against it. Is it sounds, you know, you can hear that it's a two-cylinder. It doesn't sound as smooth as a four-cylinder, but it sounds a lot more powerful than a 250 or a 500, and it really moves. So I really recommend being able to test ride before you can buy a motorcycle, because when I got on this bike, I'd never ridden one. I'd sat on one before, and I could have been easily, you know, unpleasantly surprised with the way it handled or the way it felt on the road. Fortunately, I wasn't. Fortunately, it's the most solid thing I've ever ridden on the road. The crosswinds on the freeway are pretty much non-existent. Not the crosswinds aren't, but the way you blow me around on the 250, that doesn't happen anymore. I'm not looking at bigger bikes. I was really hesitant to get a 650R because it's my philosophy that you don't need anything that can go that fast. I still believe that, but this is a lot more stable for the freeway riding that I do. So, you guys keep riding and stay safe.